All right. I hope you guys are having a good week so far. We might have more people join us, but we're going to dive in so I don't waste anyone's time. Um, there was just an event called Leadership at, I think it was in Arizona, but basically they have this awesome event for leaderships. It's invite only based on how they're doing in their business. And there's big announcements. There's new things that come into the business. And I believe we'll get more details with the Slay Squad call tonight. So you can listen to the recording on Slay Squad about even more of the details. But I did post something in Team Phoenix about kind of a little breakdown of what we can expect, which I think is really awesome. So if you didn't check that out, I recommend doing it as a little overview. They just launched, so recently they launched the monthly body with shakes for $99. Now they're launching a monthly body for $35 a month, and that is available now. So for all those people that haven't wanted to commit to a year, but didn't want the shakes or nutrition or whatever, I think this is a really good option. Probably not something like my mathematical brain. Becky was saying this today to me in a text. She was like, if you do 35 times 12 for the year, I think she said it's $420 versus like the total solution pack, which is 219 minus 20, or even the 1 year body pass is 179. So people, you can use that as a selling point. Like, this is a really good deal because you can pay $35 a month or get it all in 1 year and save a lot of money. But some people don't have that money up front, so they do want to do the monthly, and then they can maybe eventually change over to the yearly pass. But I think that's interesting, and I think this can help people have like a little sneak peek into if they're going to use it, if it's a good fit for them, and all of that. There's also a deal that if you buy for 2 years up front, you get the third year free, which is an awesome deal as well. So I know I have certain customers where even like their budget or finances are what's holding them back. So this could be a really good way, just the monthly, to get them started, get their foot in the door, get them feeling good for the holidays. I think that's amazing. So a few other things we've kind of talked about. Brendan Burchard's Growth Day app, it's available November 9th. And then just a couple other things about like programs and all that good stuff. But I definitely recommend tuning into the Slay Squad call that's going to be recorded tonight. And if you guys have any questions about the other announcements, we can chat about it next week. Oh, and in the verbiage, not on the picture I showed in Team Phoenix, they are now going to have an option where you can gift a body subscription. So you can actually gift a 3-month body membership, and it's redeemable through a promo code with an email address. So that's something cool that we can promote as the holidays get closer. And it makes it super simple to get them signed up with a promo code versus like, I've had people in the past where it's like, okay, I'm buying this for my sister, but I'm using my email, so it's still a surprise. And then it gets all confusing and annoying. So this is perfect. And last thing I want to say is they're going to have a fitness quiz to help future clients pick what workout program would be best for them. So I think that's pretty cool because I know as you do programs, you can suggest them yourself, but it's kind of sweet to know that you can now just point them to the quiz, kind of like we have the nutrition quiz, if you didn't know that. And it at least guides them in the right direction based on how they answer questions, and then you can help from there. So lots of new cool things coming. I think most of them sound exciting. Do you guys have any questions about what was shared so far? Okay. Any other like quick updates or things you wanted to touch on before we jump into the topic?
One thing, when are When can we find that fitness quiz?
I think it doesn't have, let me check if it has a date.
I'm just looking right now, but I don't see a date next to it.
I'm guessing they might share that tonight
Okay.
on the Slay Squad or something. But I think that I would assume a lot of these, like that's under, like there's two categories. It's available soon and then next up innovation. So I'm wondering if that wouldn't be till 2024.
Yeah, that might be right. Okay.
Any other questions? All right.
So I just wanted to share something really quick. So, um, there's a mom that had signed up with me probably like a year ago, a year and a half ago, and she was like all, like all gung ho about it. And then like she was like, "Well, I just don't have the time," blah blah blah. And then she reached out to me and she was like, I really need to get myself back on track. And then she's like, I need you. She goes, at least like for the first month or two, can you like text me every day? I was like, yeah, that's fine. So the last couple of days, I've been texting her and she hadn't been responding. So then I text her today and I said, "Hey, what's up?" I said, "The last time this happened, I said, you ended up being like, no, this isn't for me." She goes, "No," she's like, "Not that." She goes, "I got the package in the mail." She goes, "But I'm afraid to open it, but I'm afraid to fail again and have to give the food they want." And I said, "Whoa." I said, "Backtrack and hold on a second here." I said, "First of all, get out of a negative mindset." I said, "This is not about what you're giving up." I said, "Because you don't have to give up anything." I said, "You just have to do things in moderation." I was like, and also, I'm like, this isn't a quick fix situation. I said, so if that's what you're looking for, this is not the answer for you. I said, but I'm like, as we had talked about a year and a half ago, I'm like, you've tried multiple quick fixes. I said, and they never, served you, and they never served you right. I said, because quick fixes are not the answer. And I was like, you have to look at the longevity of it. I said, you have a little girl that you have to be there for, so that she never has to worry about mommy being there for her, and everything. I was like, this isn't about you. I said, this is about her seeing that you care enough to show up for yourself. And she's like, yeah, you're right. She's like, I was really in a negative head. So I said, yeah. I was like, and I told her to trust me. I was like, I just found new caramel coconut Oreos. I was like, and I said, my husband had to literally hide them from me. I said, because I will literally eat the whole freaking container. I was like, did my stomach like me very well after that? Absolutely not. I said, but it tastes good. Did I feel bad about eating them? Absolutely not. And she's like, how do you keep such positive mindset? I said, because I was like, if you look at how you feel when you eat the crap, even though you're indulging, I said, knowing that that feeling doesn't last forever, I said, it makes you feel better than knowing you're going to feel like crap 24/7. I was like, so I told him he has to keep them hidden. And I honestly, God, don't know where he hid them. So, but yeah, so I just thought I'd share that because she's like, I didn't realize you ate junk food. I said, just because I have stomach issues doesn't mean that I don't indulge and then pay for it later. I said, sometimes you need that reminder that you have issues to keep you on the right track. So yeah.
That's awesome. And it is like, I don't think any of you guys give the impression that we're like these perfect whatevers. So I think it's always like going back to limiting beliefs people have, and they just need that extra encouragement. So I'm glad you were there to give that to her, because we do get in bad headspaces and we're like, crap, we failed, or crap, I just talked to someone, I was texting her yesterday and she was like, I was doing so good and then I completely failed with my nutrition and the scale's not moving and it's not working, but my clothes are fitting better and I'm stronger. But like she's stuck on the scale number. And I think there's so many things that just hold us back. And this whole thing is something that can help with like limited beliefs in general, because we're working on the mindset. So I think that's awesome that you helped her. And Carla, I feel you. So for my birthday, we were grocery shopping and I wanted something sweet and I bought cookie butter. Have you guys ever had like the cookie butter? I literally don't buy it if you can't do Nutella at home, but it's like the same thing. It's like, I'm just gonna have one spoonful, and I think it's like biscotti or something, but yeah, it needs to get out of my house right now. But awesome. We're all here on this journey and we're not perfect. And maybe it's a sign that we could be sharing more of that kind of stuff. Cause I do always try to share my healthy meals. And then I'm like, crap, Logan's been like scooping ice cream every night and I haven't bite. And like stuff like that. So I think I could work on that a little bit better. All right. Awesome. I see a few more people jumped on. Any other thoughts or anything before we jump into the call? Awesome. So I did post the podcast. It was Melanie Mitro's and it was about recruiting. And that's kind of where I wanted to focus our energy on tonight. And I think we've talked about it in detail. And a lot of us just, we feel really confident inviting to the challenge groups and the fitness and the nutrition, but we struggle inviting to the business opportunity and recruiting at like new partners. And I thought this was really like helpful how she shared it, because I think in the end, she's saying over time, everything's changing. Like how you recruit is going to change in each year, like as times change, and we all feel uncomfortable. So it's not like, oh, you suck because you feel uncomfortable. It's like, no, actually, we all feel uncomfortable and we have to make that shift and go through this cycle of change to see the results. And I think that helped me as I was listening. And I don't know who can relate, but it was like, I think she went through the timeline and the like right before where we are now, it was like, just share your life and post links and people will just sign up and they just want to see your life. And now there's people out there that are like, well, how are you going to help me? I don't care about your life. Like, tell me how you're going to help me. And I think that's a huge turning point in how we can market and share content that I took away from this call, because we still say like, share your life. People want to see that you're a real human. But I think it also has to have that shift in what you're sharing. So people know, one, they can join you, and two, what you can provide to them. So I don't know if that point stuck to you guys at all, but it really is like, I think she gave some examples of like sharing success stories of other partners, or like sharing on this team call, and don't just say like, call with my business partners, be like, this community has helped me so much because of whatever. Like, give something meaningful that you know would relate to your people that are watching you, so they can get a feel of what this opportunity is like, versus like them just seeing Zoom and they're like, oh cool, she spent her Tuesday night talking to people. Like, they don't understand. So I think just using what we always talk about as like our storefront on our social media. Our storefront is our grid, our bio, and in our stories, and just remembering to share about the business opportunity, but do it in a way that you know will relate to people that you're talking to. And I struggle with this because like technically I talk to stay-at-home moms a lot, but then I also talk to the working moms and any mom, and sometimes not moms. And I have to really remember, like, I can't talk to everybody. I have to find my people. And it's hard because I'm like, oh, but I'm singling her out and there and blah, blah, blah. But like, talk to your people. So I've recently been saying stay-at-home moms who still want something for them, like who still want to work or have something for themselves. So it kind of can go both ways with like someone already working or not working. And I think of their pain points. I think of like, why would they want to do this business? How could this business benefit them? And all that good stuff. So I do encourage you guys to sort of think through who your market is, and at least once a day, share something that you think is a pain point or something that can benefit your market that relates back to this business opportunity. the other thing I wanted to bring up, well, do you guys have any other thoughts on like that whole thing? I know that was a big part of the call.
So Bellamy and Steven need me for a minute, so I will be stepping aside. My day has been crazy and I'm sorry. But the one takeaway before I step away with them for a minute is that the different areas that she was saying that we've all been taught of, share these different corners of your life. And then what she said about, like, she said specifically that stuck out to me, people want like PDFs that they can just click and read on their own time. So I've been really thinking of different ways that I can just give people information and they can do it when they're ready and when they're thinking about it, rather than it being on my timeline. And I know I shared with Abby and Tiffany some automation stuff that I'm working on to, one, make that a little more easeful for me, but then also less about me and more about the client experience of just giving them whatever information they need at their fingertips and having clickable things in there. So I think that was a major shift. And then also just, yeah, the validation that businesses ebb and flow and things that go through, and kind of everyone's in this stage of trying to re-navigate through social media and what works and what doesn't. So curating content and how does this serve people? And it's always been that way, but it's been a little bit more of like, is this catchy? Does this like whatever? And it's like, no, how do people come to my page and know that I have what they need? So yeah, definitely it made me rethink of the information I'm putting out and how I'm meeting people's needs in real time.
I think that's a good point, because in the end, it's like we should be giving like free content, free something. So when they come to our page, they're getting something from us, not just seeing like us working out or our like dinner. It's like, here's the recipe. Here's a healthy tip that works for me. Here is how you can feel if you show up for your workouts. And she did mention like, remember how we used to do like sneak peeks and coaching opportunity events, and it'd be like, get on the call for an hour on this Zoom webinar thing. And that is just like not working anymore. And I think I at least personally felt it as, even like a few months back, like closer to when we were going on the Success Club trip, it's like no one has time or wants to sit on a call about something they're not sure about. So if you have a PDF or you create a little video explaining the business opportunity, or you have something to give to people that, like Becky said, like they can listen at their own time, they can dig in and really just decide if it's for them. I know I personally use the business opportunity video that corporate sends us or created, and I send that out. I don't know if you guys need the link, but I've watched it a few times, and I normally don't like the corporate videos because I think they're super cheesy, but I actually don't mind this one. So I dug in and I was like, you know what? Instead of redoing stuff or like making more work for myself, I'm just going to use this video for now. And the more I think about it, I definitely could make my own video, because pieces of it, I know a lot of the people I'm talking to about the business opportunity might not connect to them, or they don't really care about certain parts of it just based on like the people I know I've been talking to. But that's always an option. So you don't have to recreate something. But if you have an idea and something that you do want to put together, I think that's an awesome idea to make it short, sweet, right to the point, get to know you, and see if this is right for them. The one thing that I've noticed, do you guys feel like, so when I'm inviting to the business opportunity, and we've talked about this before, it's almost like you want to make sure you know why they want to do this. And when you're recruiting, you're going to share your experiences on your social media and how it's changed your life. But when you're actually talking one-on-one with a person who potentially is interested, always make sure you ask them, so what interests you about this? Like, how would this change your life? Why do you want, like, why do you think you want this in your life? And maybe it's community, maybe it's money, maybe it's whatever, accountability. But make sure you ask that question to them, because I know it's so fun to kind of jump right in and tell them all the things, but then we overwhelm them. So I think that's a huge takeaway as well. Any other points you guys want to share before I talk your ears off?
I just know, like she said, that if you're gonna continue doing things and they're not working, then stop doing those things and try something new. And I feel like that resonated with me because I feel like lately, I don't know, and I'm just sitting here on this call thinking about like, why do I continue to do this? Because like I'm just like not in it right now. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I'm tired. The kids been a lot lately, but I just come back to the fact that this provides something for myself and my family, even if it's not where I was a year ago. But and she said, if you're not seeing the results that you want, then you need to change it. You need to work harder. You need to push past those limiting beliefs. And I feel like I've been having a lot of those lately, and I don't know why. And I'm like, maybe it's because I've seen a lot of people just like step away from body lately and like totally switch to like a different MLM and I just don't know why, and like seeing their success. And that's unfortunately like, as I don't know, business person, like we always are comparing ourselves to somebody else and what they're doing. And that unfortunately is like not good. So I just what she was saying was that if it's not working, stop doing what's not working. And if you're continuing to do that, like you're not gonna move. You're not gonna move forward. You're gonna stay where you are, or you're gonna regress totally. So that was like the one thing that like I was like, dang, she always has good things that like, and she's been in the business for so long, so she understands like I mean, we started with DVDs, guys, and like a bag of Shakeology, and now like look where we've come. Like it's insane. And it's just getting better. Like I know things are scary and things are changing again, but for the better. Like our company, I would say, is the best company for wellness because we have everything that somebody needs. It's got nutrition. We have mindset now, like even more so. Like I feel bad for Petra because I feel like she came on and now it's like, oh, now we have Brendan Bouchard. And I'm like, what about Petra? But Brendan Bouchard's amazing too. I would actually just posted Somebody just posted something on the Platinum Presenters page of showing like how much that content's going to be, which I'm wondering how they're going to bundle that into like our already total solution. But we just have to look back at like why we're doing this. And I think that's the biggest reason. I don't know. I'll get off my tangent box now.
It's actually funny that you say that, Kareen, because I have a couple of friends on Facebook that are with Thrive, and they have been like trying to nonstop bug me. Like, oh, you should join us, you'd be perfect. And I'm like, no. I was like, does your company incorporate fitness? Or do I just wear a patch and it's supposed to solve all my problems? And I'm like, because last time I checked, unless you're picking up a weight, you're not solving all your problems. Like, or unless you're going to move your body, like, do you have, and I was asking them like all these questions, and they were like, well, no, we have a really good tasting shake. I said, I already have a shake. I said, actually said, I have multiple if you want to get technical about it. I said, take your pick which one you'd like to choose from. I said, do you want the helps with ADHD symptoms? but also helps people with non-ADHD symptoms. I said, do you want one that helps with energy to help you want to get up and moving? That's all natural. I said, do you want like something that helps, with the protein after you work out? Do you want something that's going to be like a superfood shake? They're like, oh, well, and I'm like, so I said, what if you run into a situation where somebody's allergic to the patch that they wear on their skin? So did you ever think about that? She goes, well, we have yet. I was like, so you guys don't have very many test groups showing what people are supposed to do if they end up having a reaction to something. And they were like, well, we think you'd be great. I said, yeah, no thanks. And it's funny because this girl, like, I know, like, me personally, knowing that it's a lifestyle and it's a journey, like, I always use my original picture compared to, like, I don't look the same from what I did a year ago. I don't, and I know that, but it's like, do I get down on myself about it? No, but is it frustrating at times because, when you have hormone issues, medication changes, all kinds of stuff, anything and everything is going to throw your body off. And for me, it's like when I look at this one girl's pictures of it that's been trying to reach out to me, her like progress picture, she has not taken any new progress pictures, nothing at all. And I'm like, you look the exact same. Like, you're not exercising. You're literally doing this 3-step process that gives you energy, gives you the vitamins that you need. That's all fine and dandy. But if you're trying to like do the whole full circle situation, you're not doing it. And that for me, it's like people like want to have it handed to them and they don't want to put in the work. And I'm like, if you're not going to put in the work, why are you advertising for something that's not giving you the full circle situation? And they're like, well, these are the best products. I'm like, no, they're not. But thanks for the offer. Goodbye. Like, and it's like, I feel bad, but it's like, I'm not going to sit here and debate with you. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. Like, I've been doing this for 2.5 years now, something like that. I don't even remember anymore. But for me, I'm like, for my background of not sticking with anything to coming into this and being able to stick with it because I know how much it helps me. It's like, why would you ever want to change? People are like, oh, well, I failed. No, you didn't. You didn't fail. Yeah, you failed forward. Look at it that way. You never failed. I'm like, and don't think that there's a pill out there that's going to fix all your problems, or there's, a nutritional shake that's going to fix all your problems. I'm like, because you have to have everything in like a complete circle to have it all together. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that because Thrive is one of the biggest things that's like apparently out right now. And I get people are trying to make something for themselves. And I get that. And I fully support that because they're trying, but I'm like, you're barking up the wrong tree. Leave me alone.
And I think it's interesting how it's like, I think this will be good for you. And you're like, why don't you ask me?
Yes. And they're not asking.
Like,
they're literally, it's
yeah.
like word vomit and they're pushing it at you. And
And
I'm
I think
like, and it's like half of them don't like get to know you. I've gotten so many cold messages. Like, and this one girl has been literally, kid you not, reaching out to me every week for 3 months. I have never responded to her. Nothing, but she literally sends me the exact same message every week. And finally, I sent her a message back and I was like, I don't know who you are. You don't show up in my newsfeed. You keep sending me the same message. I was like, but yet we have nothing in common. I was like, before you send a cold message like this, you should probably get to know the person. And like, normally I don't do stuff like that, but it's like, it's getting to the point anymore where I'm like, if you don't have like, if you're not going to take out the time to get to know me, don't message me at all.
for every week.
Yes. So yeah, no. So she finally went in and deleted and blocked me because I sent her that message, which I was like, better you than me, because somehow whenever I go in and block people, they end up somehow reappearing somewhere. So yeah, just thought I'd share that.
Yeah, and I think all of it is like a full circle moment because now when you talk to people, you're like, I would never do that. Or like
Yeah.
when you
Well, it's funny. I used to cold message people, but like it was never like a lengthy thing. And now I'm like, I always ask, like, what's your favorite fall activity? Or like, oh, I see, like, I was looking on your profile and see, like, you have kiddos. Like, how old are they? Like, are they in school? Like, trying to jumpstart a conversation because, like, yeah, sure, I'm trying to be like, hey, are you interested? But it's like, what call did we have recently that they were like whoever you talk to now, they may not like join for like 6 months or something.
Mhm.
So having that in the back of my mind now, like I've had a lady that a single mom of one who runs a daycare out of her home. So she has like 8 kids in her home at a time, including her son. And she actually just reached out to me like a few days ago or something and was like, I just want to let you know, she's like, even though like we've kind of talked a little bit, she's like, you've inspired me to like start exercising again. She's like, and I was going through a really deep depression and like really considering closing my in-home daycare. She goes, but that's my only source of income. She's like, so thank you for giving me, that boost. She's like, seeing you show up every day super early in the morning is what's helping me push.
That's
So I'm
awesome.
like, hey, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, and they do come around eventually. It's like, but even if they don't, you're like, wow, they actually trust you enough to share something hard with them. And I think that's the coolest thing. But that's why we keep showing up. And I do agree. Like a lot of the companies have products and things that you can eat or drink or put on. But like, I think we have the total package, and that could be because I truly believe in it. But I personally, like a lot of the other companies, it is pushing products a lot. And yeah, you can join the team, but then you're selling products where we get to sell a lifestyle, which is why we show an example of our life and how we're living. And I think that's so cool. And now we know, thanks to Brittany, that we will not assume that people are perfect for our business until we get to know them. Another thing that I thought was really interesting that I know I need to work on personally is the whole like not confusing your people in the marketing plan, because Melanie was saying like lay out your calendar and then first half of the month you invite to the challenge group and then you swap and it's just the business opportunity. And I struggle with that so bad because I'm like everything, but like I need to work on that. I haven't brainstormed fully because every day, yes, you're going to show up and I put links in my stories about like accountability groups, and then I talk about the partner business opportunity. But I don't know if you guys have thought through like, it's like you need to talk about them all each day, but really promote one like open enrollment at a time. So maybe it's your challenge group. And I do normally close my challenge groups on the 15th for the month and then launch my following month. I think when the content comes out that we get, which is I think the 22nd or 23rd. So I normally kind of break that up from like I'm just finishing the October accountability group and then I'm going to open up November. But I really struggle with finding like use this week to talk about the business opportunity. Do you guys like, do we need to brainstorm this? Because it's hard.
I feel like you do a good job at it though, Abby, because I feel like you do like what the first 2 weeks of the month is your group, and then you spend like the next 1 to 2 weeks just inviting to the opportunity.
I try to. I feel like my marketing's confusing though, because I talk about them both all the time.
Well, I feel like you could, I don't feel like your marketing is confusing, but I get what you're saying. Because like today, I literally was talking to someone about my group, and then I was like, oh, by the way, we have a new Shakeology flavor. And I'm like, oh, I just did what she said not to do. But like, I like to share that information with people. But yeah, I feel like, I think this morning I didn't talk about the opportunity, but I talked about like why, like how people get out of the house with 2 littles to get to the gym by 5:30 and then get home to get ready. Like I was just trying to like put it out there and be like perspective. And I'm not really saying come join my group or hi, come be a partner, but I'm like just sharing that. And I feel like I've stopped, I don't know. I'm trying to share more valuable things like recipes. I used to share a ton of those. I stopped doing that for some reason, which it's just laziness, or I'm just busy, which is not a good excuse ever. But yeah, I feel like one day you could talk about like your group, and then like the next day you can talk about the opportunity, because I feel like you have to sprinkle in the opportunity on top of just talking about your group. But I feel like, yeah, talking about both. But I always have somebody like fill out a survey. That's why I want that fitness quiz, because once we can send that out, like my survey, I only get like a certain amount a month, and then it's like I cap and I have to wait till like the next month to send it out. But it's like in that I'm talking about the opportunity at the end. So like if people say they're interested, then I kind of pull that part back in. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we could brainstorm like one to talk about it, but I don't know.
I know it's hard to not like overthink
I
it,
like
but
how
then
you sprinkle it in, Abby.
I
I really
think
do.
I think it's contradicting in a little bit in a way, because I think in your story you always want to talk about both. But then it's almost like inviting to one thing at a time.
I can follow it in your stories.
Okay. That's good.
Let's just put it out there right now. If I can follow it, that's good.
Hey, give yourself more credit.
But I also think noticing that we have an awareness and the knowledge base, and that's a different aspect of somebody from an outside perspective. And Crane, what you were talking about is like those old patterns and beliefs of really what Melanie Mitchell was saying doesn't work anymore and just needing to shift out of. And I hear that, Abby, that's what you're talking about as well, which is the like clarity of, but this is what I feel, and these patterns have been working. But noticing that that's a shift that necessarily isn't working for people anymore, because I'm trying to figure out what that looks like if people are watching and paying attention, and maybe it's a spiral of I want to talk to her, but I don't want to talk about the business opportunity. And she talked about that yesterday. So, trying to find some clarity in the marketing and things. And it's something that I've even tried to scale back a little bit. And this week, I don't know that I've talked about the business opportunity. I've just been focusing on my shakes and my wellness, and like really just trying to narrow things down and then have individual conversations. But yeah, trying to focus, and maybe instead of like every day, one week. But I think it's all trial and error, and just seeing if adjusting a little bit makes a difference at all in the connections and the outcomes that are having. And there's always the if what's working for you is working for you, then don't change it just because Melanie Metro said so. And so that's that too, of finding what works for you in your current market, I think is important. But it's just, I think all of these discussions are just to get our brains looking at different ways of doing things that maybe old patterns aren't working anymore. And it was eye-opening for me. It was definitely something, Abby, that topic stood out to me. This was when Carla, I actually ended up, I know Carla's training for a half marathon as well. And so this was a day that I shifted from I always run with music, and I decided, I was like, let me see if listening to a podcast while running, like what that does for me. It wouldn't help with the cadence, but like songs are 3 minutes long. So in my break, I do interval running. So I run for 3 minutes and I walk for 30 seconds. And so I always know when a song's done, I'm like, man, my break should be coming up. But so I listened to Melanie Mitro, this podcast when I was running, which did help a lot because it was 30 minutes long. But yeah, it was something that in the run stood out to me of like, I remember the exact mailbox I was passing when I was like, I need to switch up my content a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that perspective, because it's like maybe it's just a tiny shift. And even at the beginning of the year, I remember I mean, we have products of the month, like Holly laid out this similar thing. It's like invite to your accountability group. I think the first 2 weeks, and then product of the month for the next week, and then the business opportunity. So I think it's not necessarily only talking about those things on your stories and even in your posts on your page, but like that's your call to action. So like I could still work out, share my shake, share everything, but if my call to action for that week is I'm getting people in my accountability, or I'm sorry, in my partnership mentorship group, that's what I'm like putting the action out there. But then if I'm getting people in my accountability group at the beginning of the month, that's what my links and actions are for. So I think it's really what works for you. And I could see how like we all know what's going on, so it probably makes more sense. But I think just making little adjustments and see how it works for you, and getting a little uncomfortable. And the main thing, which you guys all said, it's like, if it's not working, switch it up. If it doesn't feel right, switch it up. And I think that's kind of the big takeaway. Change is going to happen, and it's okay to make changes. And I don't want you guys to be like, oh, it's not working after 2 days, but like give it like a week or 2 or 3 or a month, and then just be like, is this working? And then make another shift if you need to. But I know recruiting's hard, and I'm slowly getting more comfortable with it. And honestly, if it makes more sense to you, have conversations behind the scenes, one-on-one, like you're talking to a human person, instead of trying to like make it sound perfect and formulated on your stories and social media, because that's where I get some of my best conversations. And they just tell me a pain point, and then I tell them it's an opportunity that I'd love to chat with them about. And it's as simple as that. So maybe even just following up with those people behind the scenes, like one-on-one, just like we have to do for accountability groups, because people are scared to reach out to us. But I find those conversations almost to be a little bit easier than always talking about it. Awesome. Well, I hope this was helpful. I know we have some more time. Did anyone have anything else that they wanted to bring up or share?
So I'm new, Hannah here, hot mess. I actually got into Beachbody because of Corrine. We went to high school together, and then she ended up moving away, and somehow we connected, and she was like adamant about, and I was like all over the place, and I wanted to get back into working out. And I actually was a personal trainer, working out at a gym for a long time with my own clients. So, I just kind of kept needing that push, because I kept talking about it. I kept wanting to put myself first, but I was like in a new relationship, and we had dogs, and then we got married, and we bought a house, and like life was crazy. So, from me, or for me, I guess obviously I'm starting off new, but from me, like I've always had a lot of friends, and I guess now that I'm growing up and in my mid-30s, a lot of acquaintances. But I don't really have, like, we moved out to Canandaigua, New York. I don't know if anybody knows that. But we moved out here a little bit, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. But I don't really know anybody out here. So like it's nice that like I don't really have to go to a gym. Like I can go, we're fortunate enough to have like a gym, within our house. But I like reaching out to people, and like I post like my pictures and stuff like that, and I can start posting more of my workouts to kind of get people more involved. But I'm also 11 and a half weeks pregnant, so I'm trying to kind of hide that factor right now, which is getting more and more difficult. But kind of just like, and I'm not the most technologically savvy person, so trying to get on this Zoom call took me like 15 minutes. But trying to get people like to like grab their attention, like make them want to call. Like when I log into social media, because like I have a 16-month-old, she's crazy, she's in everything. By the time I get home, like I'm exhausted, I work full time. But like when I climb into bed, or like when I'm sitting on the couch, or when I have that moment to just kind of like veg out and kind of like look like I love going in and see Kareen. Like, what's Kareen up to? Like, what's her family up to? What's going on with her son? Like, what's going on with her daughter? Like, what are her and her husband doing? So like to me, that's like very like it grabs my attention. Like it makes me like, oh my Kay, what are my friends doing today? Even though I don't really talk to her all the time, but like it makes me like it grabs my attention. So like those things, or like reading little tidbits. I'm still trying to figure out Instagram and Facebook to see how it pauses on one screen without continuing so I can read the whole thing. But we're working on it. But I'm trying to start off this business because I think like the basics are for me are like really, really important because there's always going to be a new fad. There's always going to be a new pill. There's always going to be a new product. But like getting your body out there and moving your body and like, I think Calabrese, whatever workout I'm doing. After 4 weeks for everybody, she said that 80% of it is your diet. So like getting people involved, like posting recipes, showing people like the food that you're making. Like I don't really know. I'm like one not to be really shy ever, actually. But this is like where I'm very uncomfortable. Like I don't really reach out to people. I don't really know, especially a lot of women out here and a lot of women that are out here. I work 60 hours a week. I work full time. So a lot of these people are like, have their families and they don't think that they're important. But like I want to be that person like Kareen was for me. That's like, you are important. And like take that time for yourself because you are your best for everybody else that needs you when you're in these moments. Like when I don't work out and I see everybody and like everyone's tagging me on their posts and stuff, like it makes me feel like a part of something. It makes me feel good. And then I'm like, oh, like whether I work out or I don't work out, whether it's my day off or whether I just didn't feel like it, like it helps me think of like those positive vibes. Like everyone's working out. Like there's so much negative in this world and there's so much crap to dwell on that it's like a breath of fresh air to see people like fighting for themselves every day and like making those baby steps. But for somebody like me, who, like I said, is not, I don't know how to work social media. I barely know how to post things. Half the time I do it wrong. Sometimes I duplicate it. Like I'm like just trying to figure out the basics here, but kind of like an old soul. So I'm like trying to figure out how to how to grab people's attention, like how to make people want to be interested. Like how can I be what Corinne was to me? Like how can people like want to log in and when they log in say like, oh, like I wonder what Hannah's up to or like what she's into now, or like I think that like a couple people were saying there's always new fads, there's always new things, but like sticking to the basics, sticking to which a lot of people like now are like the easy few ingredients recipes that are just like healthy, like natural, without all the preservatives, with all that crap on it, that you're feeding your family. Or a lot of people I've been seeing recently is like I have a young girl, like showing up and like showing her that it's a positive thing to put yourself first. It's not a selfish thing. It's what makes me be a better mom. And we have another girl coming. So, I mean, like to have that positive vibe that I never had growing up from either of my parents, but to be part of that change, whether it's just within my family or affecting other people, like that's why I want to do this. Like if somebody were to ask me like why I'm interested in, because like I've always wanted to touch people's lives, no matter if it was like something stupid or something silly or, whatever it may be, even a simple like have a good night, stay safe is what people say now. But like just having that little bit of positivity in a very negative world now, I feel like is going to be huge, but I don't really know where to start.
So I did send you, which I love
gotta
that
look it up, I'm
I love
sure.
that you shared all that, Hannah, because that's very vulnerable. And I know you joined,
Almost
she joined as
cried.
a
Oh, good.
she joined as a partner, gosh, a few years ago when she first started. And then life got crazy. We both had kids and like it just, your health gets put to the back burner. And I talked about that like this morning because as a mom, I feel like it's frowned upon for us to, or just as you don't even have to be a mom. I just feel like it's frowned upon to put your health first and prioritize your health, which is sad because we have to prioritize our health, because when else are we going to do that, right? Like we have this one life, we have one body, we need to treat it with respect. So the way, just like the way we treat others, right? But I'm going to resend you that like PDF checklist that I want you to work through, because it's a great, I think Abby stole it from somebody and I stole it from Abby. I saw it at Summit. I think it's Emily Favre's, to be honest. It's really great because it's going to take you through each step, and it'll slowly have you doing little business building activities so you're not overwhelmed, because it can be overwhelming at first. And the biggest thing is like kind of just sharing like, hey guys, I'm doing this and I want you to do it with me. And it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be like sending out 20,000 invites. You can just kind of make your coming out post about, hey, you know, I'm investing in my health again and I'm looking for 3 other people to do it with me. Like it can be as simple as that. And I say that and I'm like, why can't I duplicate that? But it's true. And like write down a list of people that you think that this could benefit, and they can be coworkers, family, friends. Gosh, like I've become the wellness coach of my office, and I don't talk about Beachbody because they all rip on me about what I'm eating, but they all want to do it. That's what's funny. People are like, I don't know how to like put this into words, but people are always looking to be healthier, right? They're always looking to like find the next best thing. But like Brittany said, they don't want to put the work into it. So like if we can help instill little tidbits, I think, for other people that make it easier, like sharing recipes, giving out a quick 20-minute workout you can do from home. You don't have to leave your house if you have children, or you don't have time, you can do it in your bedroom before bed. Things like that. So you kind of just have to like share about like what you're doing. And I think that's just the biggest thing. I don't know if anyone else agrees with me, because I feel like that's just what we do. And it is more than just being like, hey, I worked out this morning, because like everybody is doing the same thing. But you're saying like, hey, I work out at home now because I have an 18-month-old. You don't have to say that you're pregnant, because I know you haven't really announced that other than right now.
This Saturday.
And another girl, that's exciting. But yeah, you
Is
can
it-
just
My little girl's a psychopath. I literally watched her spit on a chair the other day and then lick it off. And I was like, who are you? What is going on here? I'm glad I put her down before she went to bed, because she's a savage. She just runs around and screams the whole time like there's no boundaries.
well, she's your mini, that's for sure.
I know. And I'm like trying to figure out this whole new mom thing. And then I'm like, nobody was more shocked to me to find out I was pregnant. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, my daughter's only 16 months old. Like, what? So we planned our honeymoon. We canceled all that. So life's been totally crazy. But like, I think it's really important to like even starting with her, and like I was working out with her when she had a little bit more of attention span. But like working out with her and like making sure like I'm always being like positive and stuff like that. And when I'm like looking in the mirror or like trying on something new, like making sure that I'm staying positive for her, because I try to tell my husband all the time, obviously he wasn't a girl, but like feeding her like hot dogs and cheese puffs and like McDonald's, like that's not a lifestyle. Like those are, to me, like those are treats. Those are like something that you can feed them, that you can have on occasion, everything in moderation. Like I don't want her to think that she can't have anything unless she doesn't want something. But like giving her the options of, you know, a balanced meal every single time, like fruits, vegetables, carbs, proteins, like getting that. So like she picks what she wants. Like obviously she has no thought process right now of like what she wants or what she doesn't want, thank God. But like making sure that she's aware of these things, because I mean, she's 16 months old, but she's so smart. Like she knows stuff already that like I wouldn't even imagine she would know. So like making that a point, or like my husband's not the greatest eater, and he's been saying he's gonna work out since I met him 4 years ago, and he hasn't. So like the fact that I think sometimes, well, obviously when I'm up at, 5 o'clock in the morning, that doesn't sound appetizing to anybody. But like it makes me feel better. And like I think that when he sees me feel better and sees me in a good mood, and like I come running in at 5:30 after my workout and I'm like all sweaty and I jump on top of him, like I think that like makes him, not that he acts on it, but makes him like excited to see, like makes him want to like eat better or start working out, or and like he doesn't work in the winter, so he always says that working out is going to be his thing. So we'll see, but I think like just trying to get people involved, and like I'm not perfect. I'm the first one to admit that I'm not perfect. I don't always follow plans. I don't always work out, but like accepting you and accepting yourself for, maybe I want to do 4 to 5 days a week, but maybe it's just not this week, or maybe it's not next week, or maybe it's not this month, but like that's okay. Like you're still human, you're still able to do these things. So I mean, I know that a lot of people want to, be successful and get lots of like customers and lots of clients and all that stuff, but I just went on a tangent where I forgot what I was going. Mom brain, holy smokes.
I love it. And I think in addition to what Corrine said, just something that specifically helps me, because you have all the spaces of what you want to talk about and your life and the points that mean the value to you, why you show up every day and the connection to others. And so just the extra piece for me that simplifies it. And I know you were talking about how you're learning technology, but I think something that has been so helpful for me having such a busy, crazy life. I'm literally, I don't know if you see me over here typing, but I'm typing, I'm in work clothes. I'm still working on notes. I'm like, I'm going to be working until like 11 o'clock tonight, which is crazy. But with all of that, for me, it's finding the content and the words to share and really like honing in on that. Google Bard has been my best friend. So if you write down that Google Bard, it is AI, artificial intelligence, and you literally type in and say, I have an online fitness business. I'm posting a picture of me and my daughter working out. Write a caption that is motivating, inspiring, has a great hook, and invites people to join my challenge group this week, and add 10 hashtags. Literally, that's what I put in Google Bard, and it comes out with my caption. And of course, you edit it and make it your own, but you don't sit there and overthink, what am I going to post? I don't have time to write this. My daughter is in my face while I'm trying to post this, and life gets out of hand. You copy and paste exactly what it is. So it's been a lifesaver for me. And even today, I posted, I mean, on my stories, truly, I said, I'm posting pictures of my fitness, write catchy captions for my stories. And every single piece of narrative that's on my story, I copied and pasted from Google Bard. It identify with it, and it resonates with me because I have that tailored in what I wanted it to say, but I didn't actually spend time sitting and typing and posting, which for me is so important and critical with me actually doing the tasks rather than just thinking about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know. I'll look into that.
And I agree with Becky. It's like everything you just shared, you should write down as ideas to just share every day. Like go back to the recording, because everything you shared, it was from your heart. I know people can relate to it, and it sounds simple, but just keep sharing from your heart, because all those things you said are relatable, and you're going to find your people. And it might feel weird and you're like, I don't know how to share it, but I literally take pictures or videos throughout the day and then just plug things into it. Like, because I have, my daughter's 14 months. She just turned 14 months. And she'll be like walking and holding my finger or something. I'm like, oh, I'm going to take a video of this. And then I can like post it later, or we'll go for a walk. And that helps me with the social media aspect, because it's not like I sit down for the end of the night, I'm like, crap, what do I do now? And I have nothing on my phone. So if you just take things throughout the day, that also helps. And then you can just put your like heart and voice to it, even if it's not like real time happening.
Smart. I know how to record a video.
Yes, even if you do a workout and like 3 hours later, I'll be like sharing my workout videos or way later. So as long as it's there and something you can share, it doesn't have to be like real time.
Gotcha. Good to know.
I'm excited for you.
Thanks. I'm very excited. And like I said, work is kind of overwhelming, and especially going into the winter season, is like our busy season. So it'll get kind of crazy, but like this is like super exciting to me. And like I tell most people at work, like everybody knows. So I'm like, I always pick out like, oh my God, look at like your chicken and broccoli and rice. And I'm like, look at you eating healthy. And like there's lots of like a younger girl who I'm kind of training, I guess. And she's like, I love seeing it every morning. Like my manager got into like Peloton. And I'm like, for certain people, especially like people I know and I work with every day, like I don't care what you do, and I don't care if you do it with me, but like I just want you to be moving. Like I just want, like she's turning 50. She's saying that like all the pounds are just like adding on and adding quickly, and they don't go away like they used to. So like just hearing that like she gets up at 4:30, 5 o'clock because it's something that I do. And like just like even the guys that I work with are starting to like eat healthier and say that like they're trying to like take the stairs and not go in the elevators. And so I've always kind of like had that, like I've always wanted to reach out and like kind of touch people like that. But like here's a great way, especially with all this social media and all this stuff that like I said, in such a crappy world with such negative things going on all the time, like I choose happy and I want to be happy, and like I want other people to be happy, because in the current state, there's so much to be thankful for. And like we'll take for granted when we were in our 30s, even though when now, we say, oh, when I was in my 20s. But like when we're in our 40s, when we're in our 50s, like we're going to thank our younger selves for getting into the habits and getting into the place where we're going to be when we're in our 50s, because of the lifestyle we changed, not because of the fad we did. So I don't know.
You have all the passion behind it. That's like literally all you need. And you're doing small things every single day, and it's going to make a difference. So I think that's awesome.
Thanks.
I will have to find you on Instagram so we can tag you. Do you know what your like name is on there?
That's a great question.
I'll send her to you, Abby.
Okay.
Thanks. Thanks, girl.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you shared everything, and that's what these calls are about, just sharing, getting things out there. Hopefully you guys all have taken something from this call that you can dive into this week with and weeks going forward. But we're always here to support you. So as you go through the week, if you have any more questions or thoughts or anything, just ask and we can get you all situated. And I'm excited for you guys because I think we have something amazing, and I know you all feel the benefits of this, and we just have to keep sharing it with other people.
Yes, and thanks for listening.
Sure. All right, guys. I hope you have a good night, and we'll talk soon. See ya.
Toodles.